Hi, my name is Marilyn Wang, and I'm a graduate student in Buffalo State, majoring in curriculum instruction. I am also a full time resident teacher in a charter school on the west side of Buffalo, where approximately 30% of our student population are refugees and are considered English language learners. Throughout my video, I will be referring to students who are English language learners as ELs, as it is a term that is used in my workplace as an abbreviation for ELLs. During the beginning of the school year, I was in a fifth grade classroom when I noticed two things about vocabulary. The first being that even native English speakers lacked the vocabulary that they were expected to learn by the end of fourth grade. The second thing that I noticed was that even though the Ls in my classroom progressed greatly in previous years, the level of academic vocabulary and social vocabulary lagged behind those of the native English speakers. In the other classrooms that I've been in, I noticed the lack of direct instruction for vocabulary that takes place during A-Late blocks. More often than not, there are three things that teachers do when an unfamiliar word is encountered. First, the teacher will tell the students directly what the word means. Two, the teacher will tell the students to use context clues to help figure out the meaning of the word. Or, the third situation, when the unfamiliar word is encountered during instruction, the teacher will quickly give a definition of the word and move on. These situations are not beneficial for students. The students will understand what the word means at the moment, however, in the long run, they will often forget what it means and they will ask again. This happens because many teachers have not received adequate training for teaching this population of students who have little to no knowledge of English when they step into a school setting in the United States. Schools have been struggling to meet their unique language and literacy needs. Because vocabulary development is the basis of learning to read, write, and speak in every content area, it is essential that teachers at every grade level provide meaningful vocabulary instruction. Many teachers use traditional vocabulary instruction because it is the way that they were taught vocabulary when they went through school. However, the traditional vocabulary instruction is outdated, and there are new and appropriate ways to teach vocabulary as the student population continues to become more diverse. From what I observed in classrooms in terms of vocabulary instruction, it shaped into an idea for my master's project. By the time I entered EDU 690, I had given some thought as to what my project should be on, and when I reflected on my classroom experiences, the vocabulary issue stood out. I decided to focus on vocabulary development for Ls in 5th grade. I knew I wanted to create an ELA unit where vocabulary was a consistent component of the unit. When I did my research for my literature review, most, if not all, the article states that Ls often have difficulty with academic and everyday vocabulary. They often have an easier time being able to communicate using social English than academic English. But even if they develop social English at a quicker rate, some vocabulary that are considered typical for native speakers, that specific vocabulary may not typically be used in a school setting. Therefore, Ls face a greater challenge in being able to close the gap in their vocabulary development compared to native speakers. In 5th grade, literacy skills are deeply embedded in core subjects such as mathematics, social studies, science, and ELA. As the vocabulary gap widens, it not only negatively affects their academics, especially as they move on throughout their elementary years, but with it affects their writing, reading, and mathematical skills. This often leads to Ls to feel a sense of hopelessness. Not only is their vocabulary not on grade level, as students progress throughout middle school and beyond, it tends to worsen. For vocabulary instruction to be effective, it should include direct teaching of word meanings. The words that are being taught through direct instruction should be critical for comprehension for the text and general vocabulary words that enhances or is vital. Vocabulary instruction shifts a bit when the students enter the upper elementary grades. Direct instruction is still needed for some words, but the focus during instruction shifts to students having the tools and skills to determine novel meanings independently with guidance as needed. The purpose of the lessons that were created for the curriculum research project was to increase vocabulary development for fifth grade students. The lessons are meant to teach students a vocabulary that is on grade level and have students learn any unfamiliar vocabulary that they personally don't know along the way. The lessons were created to help students comprehend grade level text with guidance as needed. My lessons along with aligns with the New York State ELA standards. If fifth grade classroom teachers use my master's graduate research project as the foundation of their guided reading groups lesson plans in ELA for a 9-week period, I believe that every student can benefit from learning strategies and skills that are taught in the curriculum map and lessons. The project is aimed to provide a meaningful ELA unit that helps students with their vocabulary development and to develop the skills and strategies that can be transferred to each core subject. I hope that it can be used in various school districts and that it's easy and effective to implement. It is aligned with the New York State Common Core learning standards, and the strategies can be applied independently and fluidly throughout the school year, as they would have had tremendous exposure to the strategies and skills.